purpose of life is to be useful, to be honorable, and to make a difference that you lived and you lived well. This was a subject of a conversation that I had with my friend in the past summer. We were discussing what we were planning to do after we graduated. She mentioned that she really wanted to join the Peace Corps after she graduates, and I had heard about the Peace Corps before, but I didn't actually know what they did. So I decided to look into it and to do some research. What I found was that the Peace Corps is a U.S. government-run volunteer program that was founded by President Kennedy in 1961 with three main goals in mind. The first was to help people of interested countries in meeting their needs for trained men and women. So if in another country, a group of people decide they want to work on a project and they don't have access to someone who can train them or help them, the U.S. would send them a volunteer to help them get started on that. The second goal was to help promote a better understanding of Americans for people served. While a volunteer was there, it would be their responsibility to represent American values and culture in the best light possible. The third goal would be to help promote a better understanding of other peoples for Americans. So when the volunteer would return back to America, they would have the unique knowledge and experience with working with other cultures that they could then pass on. There are a lot of locations where volunteers could go, and it all depends on the particular skill set that each volunteer has. For example, in Mexico, there has been a demand for engineers because of their construction projects. Deaf education, the teachers have been needed in Kenya, and in Eastern Europe, there has been an increase in demand for high-level university professors. So there is a very wide range of skill sets that are required all throughout the world. There are a number of initiatives that volunteers focus on while they're volunteering. The first one is that many of them share is education, whether it's teaching basic English or some high-level specific skill. Health is another very big initiative. In particular, recently, the eradication of malaria in Africa and HIV and AIDS have been a very big focus. The environment is also a growing concern, particularly with agriculture, recycling alternative fuel sources. All of these are what volunteers focus on to make sure that people are informed and they can act accordingly. Food security is a very big initiative. About 40% of volunteers focus on this particular area. From 1961 to present, there have been about 210,000 volunteers total that have served in 139 different countries. There are a number of requirements that you need to fulfill before you can even start applying. First, you need to be an American citizen. You need to have a college degree, which is a bachelor's in any area of your interest. You do get 3 months of training before you leave, but you are gone for 24 months. You will be serving for that amount of time. And you are allowed to return on family emergencies, but you are expected to complete your service. And as I mentioned before, you have to be the right person for the job, which all comes down to your specialized skill set. The application process is fairly involved. It takes about 9 months, starting with your initial application online, which is where you list why you're qualified, what you can do, and what you would like to do. Next, you move on to your interview. And if you pass through that, you need to get a nomination before you can move forward. Once you can get a nomination, you can go ahead and complete your medical, legal, suitability, and competitor reviews. And then if there is an invitation for someone with your particular skill set from a country, and you choose to accept that invitation, you can go ahead and do your final medical clearance and prepare for departure. There are lots of reasons why you would want to volunteer. Some of the benefits include that you do get language, cross-cultural, and technical training. You are given a monthly living and housing allowance while you're gone. You don't have to pay for anything. You're given full medical and dental coverage. You don't have to pay anything to apply to participate. And actually, when you come back from volunteering, you are given a readjustment allowance. But what could be the biggest reason why so many people want to volunteer is because it is a truly life-changing experience. I remember reading a study that was conducted on the host country partners about their impressions of the volunteers after the volunteers had left. And what I found very interesting and surprising was that one of the stories that the partner mentioned that impressed him the most, it didn't deal so much with the technical skills that the volunteer had to offer, but it was about how respectful the person was to everyone in the community, even to the people that the locals shunned. And I found that very inspirational, that something that simple could make that big of a difference in other people's life. And it reminded me of another quote that I read where even the smallest act of caring is like a drop of water. Even a small drop can make a ripple throughout the entire pond. Thank you.